Is absolutely incredible how many people out there think that their personal preferences should overrule the ideas of using equity programs to help improve situations for a broader range of people than exist in their little bubble of the world. I'm the Chris who plays games, and this is your CPG rant of the evening. My daughter's school this year instituted a Chromebooks for All program, where all students going to the school get access to a school-provided and owned laptop, which they are required to bring to school on a daily basis and use for all of their classes. They've gone with Chromebooks for a large variety of reasons. Most likely, they are, generally they're lower cost devices to purchase and own, but more importantly, they have a lot of ease of use features and a limited attack surface for students to exploit and make them their own. For devices that are owned by the school district, it makes a lot of sense for them to think about Chromebooks as the tool that they would want to use, because Google has done its best to make administering Chromebooks straightforward and easy. However, there are always problems with systems like this, as you see in many schools that decide to block certain websites or, not, or spy on kids or limit access or other things like that. And this is absolutely true of the CRLS school, the Cambridge School District's Chromebook program. There are problems that I have with the Chromebook program, and it's a real thing. However, because we live in Cambridge, there is a class of people who are of the RMS school of doing things, which is, the freedom is everything, and the realities of the situation should be ignored in favor of freedom. The type of people who are very upset that they can't just lock their computer in a closet and have it be all their information be protected from the rest of the world. The type of people who think that it is best for them to enforce their will on others as a way to, and look past the practical realities of any situation. In case you can't tell from my tone of voice, I think this is horseshit. But okay, I understand. You think that the world would be a better place if students didn't turn in their work via Google Docs, and students didn't type in online word processing, and students didn't use the cloud, and students didn't have to learn how, accept that the internet is a key part of most functional productivity suites used by most people the world over. If you could insist that the only computer that matters is one that you have complete control of, and that Linux is the thing that everybody should learn, and so on and so on and so forth. Fine. Whatever. I disagree with you, you're wrong, but whatever. I get what you're saying, even though I think you're wrong. But then you're asked, okay, what would you do instead? You don't think that the school should have gone with a Chromebook program. What would you do? And your answer is, well, if I was in charge of the program, would give all of the students on, reduced lunch plans, all the students who are of limited means, free ThinkPads. And let everyone else fend for them, with Linux installed on them, and let everyone else fend for themselves. Let everyone else fend for themselves? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you realize that when you're looking at something which is attempting to create an equal playing field via an equity program, that to then take that and say, you know what, I'm just going to install Linux on laptops, and then say that's the right thing to do? That's really the approach you're going to take, sir? You really think that that's an alternative to an equitable program that is actually attempting to level the playing field rather than just reward the people whose parents can teach them how to use Linux, who can fix all the random bullshit that breaks on it, who can help them understand these things? Do you really think that that's the right way to go? Do you really think that it's okay to make people fend for themselves when you've got this huge disparity in access to and information and everything else like that and resources that are available to these students? Is that really the way you want to go? Because that isn't the way that I want to see it go. As a resident of Cambridge, I want to see greater equity. I want to see programs that don't reward the kids whose parents have been teaching them how to use Linux from an early age, that don't reward these kids more so than other kids who are just as bright, who are just as smart, and don't have those resources and that experience and everything else that goes along with it. The level of privilege that it requires to be demonstrated in order to say a statement like that, to sit here and say, I think that what we should do instead is just give kids Linux and let everyone else fend for themselves. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's not even talk about the total cost of ownership of trying to run a Linux-based administration system in a school that doesn't have the technical knowledge to do it. Let's not even talk about the fact that Chromebooks have a limited attack surface that allows the school to feel comfortable giving them out in the first place. Let's not even talk about the fact that using Linux laptops means that you are limited to a limited set of hardware that doesn't allow you to fully, use the full ecosystem, which means you're limited to a specific set of hardware that oftentimes costs more. Let's not even talk about all of the other flaws in your plan, but just the fact that you're taking an equity program, like a Chromebooks for All program, and saying, I would give some laptops to some people, I would put Linux on all of them, and I would let people fend for themselves. That's the approach you're going to take. That's the approach that you think is going to produce the best outcomes for the students in this district. Are you fucking kidding me? Check your goddamn privilege. Because there are kids in this town who don't have access to the internet at home. There are kids in this town who don't have access to computers other than these Chromebooks. There are kids in this town who have never had the opportunity to use anything other than likely a cell phone at home, if that. Where they're using 8-year-old computers in a computer lab in a community room in the first floor of their building, where kids are stuck using school computers only for these things, and your answer is to give them an operating system that doesn't work at the best of times for technical people and just say, do it yourself? To give them no support and no ecosystem and no teacher assistance and none of the other things you need in order to improve or do better? Seriously? Fuck off. I'm the Chris who plays games. This has been your CPG rants of the evening. I'm an employee of Google. These opinions are my own and not those of my employer. Thank you very much and have a good night.